All right. Welcome back to the ONFORM podcast. Really excited to be here. One of my favorite things to do every single week when Tuesday rolls around is to being able to be on the podcast with you guys and sharing some thoughts about Liverpool FC, baby. So this week, week 7 of the podcast. Get this thing off my shoulder. Week 7 of the podcast, we're going to be talking about, of course, all of the teams that are on form and all of the teams that are out of form this week. We're also going to be talking about some of the things that are happening in the news and in the press and things like that. I know you guys are probably seeing all types of things in terms of the Mo Salah deal, the Trent deal, VVD, some rumors about some forwards we may be in for if six isn't already enough. We're going to be covering all of that today, but just want to say thank you all for tuning into this on a weekly basis. I don't take your guys's ears very lightly, so very excited to get into everything, and we will jump right in. So today, we are going to be talking about the 3 teams that I believe are on form and the three or so teams that I believe are out of form, right? And I might sound like a broken record in this whole thing. I might sound like I'm repeating myself over and over and over, but let's be really honest here. We all know that Liverpool is one of the best, if not the best team in the Premier League right now. And they are my number 1 on form team for this week. And awesome. Remote Boomer. Hey, yes, sir. Welcome. Welcome. Indamilelo. Welcome. What's up? Greetings from Texas. What's up, Reese? How you doing, man? Thanks for jumping in. Liverpool. Let's talk about them. Another hard fought win from the team this week, and there's just not there's just not much more you can really say about this Liverpool side. But I think this run that we're going to be going on, and we'll talk about that run in a second, of course. But the run that we go on is going to really be the defining point of Liverpool in this next month, 2 months. If we can get out of this in the way that I think we can, and Ndamilelo, I think I'm saying your name correct. I hope I am. From South Africa. Hey, yes, put where you're watching from in the comments. South Africa, big up to everybody in South Africa. We have a lot of members from South Africa on the channel. But if Liverpool can get past this next month and a half, scotch free, and that's the asterisk, right? And I don't know if we do, right? But I believe we can. I think we could be on for something special. If we can get results out of the next 4-5 games, right? And maybe drop points, because we will drop points, let's be honest. Liverpool will drop points in this run. It's too many good teams that we're playing in a short amount of time, okay? Whether that's draws, whether that's losses, we will drop points on this run. But dropping points against the teams that we need to get points from is going to be the key, right? That's going to be the most important thing, is that we make sure that we win the games that we should be winning, and then maybe steal some points from the games that maybe we shouldn't be winning, right? Is going to be the key for the next month. And I think that sets us up for an amazing 2025, man. I really do. But Liverpool are on my on form team for this week. And another clean sheet, man. And three more clean sheets than Arsenal in the league. And then JL said, I would rather drop points in the Champions League than the Prem right now. 100%. If there's any games that we go light on, it's maybe some of those Champions League games, especially if we can steal a couple of these results from the Champions Leagues earlier on, not so much versus Leverkusen, not so much versus Madrid, and maybe even steal a result from the Leverkusen game, right? The only game that I really worry about in the Champions League for me is that Madrid game. But I also kind of am not worried about the Madrid game either, because Madrid haven't even looked great, right? It looks like them adding Mbappe to the mix has kind of thrown everything kind of for what they were kind of cooking up for a loop, right? You don't have Jude in there, bagging you 20 plus goals in a season because he's not in a forward position anymore. Now Mbappe's in there, right? You don't have a Vinny who, as effective as he typically is, and as he was last season. I mean, he's still been amazing, right? But and then you don't have Rodrigo that's in the side anymore, because you got to play all these extra players, and then you got high potential players on the bench that's asking for minutes, and Arda Güler and all these other external factors that's going on in Madrid. If there's any time to play Madrid, it's probably now. So I think that's actually a positive thing for us, that we do actually we're somehow drawing Madrid in probably one of their most uncertain times right now. And I don't know if we're just lucky. I don't know if we just came across a favorable draw. I mean, if you look at it on paper, it's not favorable. But Leverkusen isn't the side that they were last season, right? And I thought that even Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool side could have beat that Leverkusen side if we ever met in the Europa League. Let's be very honest there. I thought we would have won that match. And I think we win that match again this season under Arne Slot. I also think that we can get a result from Madrid, who's coming to Anfield, right? Different team, different mentality. We're going to have a different style of play than the last time that they came. And then the last time they came, we made it competitive, right? But we kind of, mentality kind of broke down, and, Vinny Jr. kind of did his thing. But anyway, that's the past. I think we're okay in the Champions League, and we can go light there if we need to and focus a lot of the efforts on the league. We're in a really great place in the league, right? We're in a really great moment where we can go on a run, and as long as we continue to get points from spots that we should be getting points from, we should be okay. But let's see what ends up happening. I don't know, right? And then Happily Eggs, hit that thumbs up. Absolutely. The more that you guys like the channel, and the more that you guys are commenting, interacting on the podcast, the more it gets out to other Liverpool fans, and then we can continue to grow this community. And if you're jumping in late, welcome to the ONFORM podcast. We do this every single week, every Tuesday, baby, at 12 Pacific time, and then 8 p.m. British time. So make sure you guys mark that on your calendar. I try to put it out in the channel every single week as a reminder. But greetings from Enugu, state of Nigeria. Welcome. And then Red Chili, what's up, brother? Big up the chat, big up the channel. Yes, sir. And then clean sheets wins are always welcome. It shows balance. The balance is right. Absolutely, Happily. And you guys don't know Happily is like an OG on the channel. Been commenting for a long time, and has some of the best takes around football, around tactics, and he's very, very well seasoned in this game. If you haven't seen any of the comments that he's posted, go back on some of the old videos. They're very, very good, very, very detailed. And then Remote Boomer, better than talk to it. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Seriously. But sure, let's talk about Liverpool again, right? Better than talk to it. That threw me off. But Liverpool are in a good way. And these are some of the stats that I kind of pulled, and why I chose Liverpool to be in the on-form category despite the Alisson injury I'm seeing there, is that number one in clean sheets, 3 more than Arsenal, who is considered the best defensive team in the league by most, right? Most people are considering Arsenal the best defensive team in the league. I hear that all the time, right? We have 3 more clean sheets than them. Somehow Manchester United only has 1 less than we do. We've conceded 2 goals in the league all year. We are 5th in goals scored. So not only do we have a great defense, we have one of the best offenses in the league as well. We have the most wins. And this is the stat that actually kind of threw me off a little bit. We are 19th in tackles, second to last in tackles. What do you guys think that means? Right? So when I read that stat, I thought, oh, we controlling games, bro. We don't even need to put tackles in. We're controlling games where we have the ball a majority of the time, and our defense actually doesn't even have to do much work. That's a positive sign for me. You want to know who's 20th, last in the league in tackles? Manchester City. Manchester City are last in the league in tackles, which tells me that our game is very similar to Manchester City in terms of systematically controlling games, taking less risk in games, and going after definitive chances. And us being fifth in the league in goals tells me that we are more clinical than we are last season as well. On top of that, so not only are we taking less risk, we're putting away the chances that we're getting. Right? We're putting away the chances that we're getting. And that's all positive for me, bro. That's all positive for me. And then the last stat that I thought was really interesting from Liverpool, and why I think they're top of the league, and why they're on form. They're the number one on form in the team in the league, and they've been that way for the past 5, 6 weeks. And I know this is a very Liverpool bias channel, but I'm not even going off of bias. These are stats right here. Is we are second in most passes. The only team that has more passes than us, you guessed it, Manchester City again. So we're controlling the games. We're playing more expansive football. We're taking more touches before the ball hits the back of the net. And then when we actually get close to goal, we're putting away chances more than we did last season. Right? So, and then here's another one. FSG need to step up. People are concerned about Liverpool squad depth. I agree with that. I hope that there's been backing there from the beginning, and I hope that Arne Slot decides to use that backing, right, and go and get some squad players in January. I don't think we really need to go after anybody that's going to replace anyone in the 11, but I do think that Arne Slot goes and gets another midfielder. I think we need another midfielder, guys. I know there's some people that are like, "Oh, we need another defender." I think yes, we do. We do need a left-footed center back, but I think more so than anything, we need cover for Maka and Ryan. Like able cover for Maka and Ryan, so that if something happens to one of those two, we at least tick at half the rate, or we tick at a quarter of the rate, right? You know what I mean? Like, not a massive drop off. I like Tyler Morton, but what happens if they're both out, right? I think Tyler Morton is a high potential player as well. Trey Nyoni is in there, but he's young, right? Is Trey Nyoni a level of Yamal where you can throw him in at 17, 18 years old? I think he has it in him, but how often does that happen? It's once in a generation, right? You look at a Messi, you look at a Ronaldo, and I think Yamal is that level. I'm not sure if Trey Nyoni is that level, but I guess we'll see. But not worried about Allison. Our backline plays more focused with Callagher in the net. I like Callagher in the net. Yaros looks really good too if something happens to Callagher. Our former goalkeeping coach was like really big on our goalkeeping core and said it's the best in the world. And I agree. I think we have 3 and now 4 Gigi Mamardashvili goalkeepers that could be number ones at any other club. I think Yaros could be a number one at a mid bottom half table, and Callagher at a mid top half table, and Gigi at a top team, and Allison obviously at a world class team. I think all 4 of them do right. Happily says turnovers from opponents' mistakes. We force mistakes. That's right. PG, what's up, brother? Welcome in. Callagher was not on the bench because he was sick. So apparently there's some sort of virus that has been going around the entire Premier League right now. It first was at West Ham. And that's why a lot of their players didn't start or didn't even play that day. And I guess Darwin got it. And then I think he passed it to Callagher. And that's why he wasn't in the squad. So hopefully that they nip that in the bud and people stop getting sick. But question, what did you think about the differing reports from Joyce/Pierce on the VVD Trent Alexander-Arnold and Salah contract situation? And don't forget, Fabrizio Romano had a different report too. So, and I was going to talk about that on the off press segment of the podcast, which we go over a lot of the news stuff, but I can go over that now. I think Paul Joyce might be blowing smoke. But I don't know. I don't know where he's getting that source from. He typically isn't like that, right? But the fact that he's calling it a transfer impasse, we don't know. You know what I mean? Like, oh, at the moment, it looks like everyone's leaving for free. Okay, and then you have Fabrizio Romano come in and say, "Oh yes, contract talks are still are still going right now for all three of them, but the common consensus, and for what I know, and Fabrizio was very, you know, he felt very confident about this, is that all three of them are prioritizing Liverpool right now. Mo, Trent, and VVD are prioritizing Liverpool right now, which I believe more so than the other reports that are saying that Trent, Mo, and VVD could be on their way out. If I was to rate them on a scale of the likelihood of who leaves versus who goes, is Trent number one. I'm going to go with the number two, Mo, and then number three, VVD. I think VVD stays. I don't think VVD wants to go anywhere else. I think he wants to retire at Liverpool, and he doesn't want to move to another club. I think Mo could be a little bit more open to a move somewhere else. I do think he still wants to play top level football. I don't think he'll go to a Saudi Arabia or anything like that. I think he'll maybe I can see him at Barcelona on like a cut price deal. If we let him go for free, I can totally see him go to Barcelona on a free, play with Lewandowski, play with Lamine Yamal, and I don't know where he's going to play in that whole thing. If Yamal gets minutes cut, whatever, right? Or if they play him more centrally. But I can see him going to Barcelona and finishing his career there. But the common consensus is that Mo wants to stay here and he wants to retire Liverpool legend and continue to break records, right? Always take Joyce as a extension / mouthpiece for FSG. So I'm with you on that take. I just wonder why they had him put that out there. Maybe to put pressure on the players, which I don't think is a smart move. I think if you pressure Trent is like one of those, he's petty, bro. He's petty. Trent is one of those guys that you put pressure on him, he will put pressure on you back, right? And maybe even make the decision to move on if you push it too far. He seems like he's very moody. He's like a moody player. You can kind of tell on the pitch and how he acts when he gets taken off. And, sometimes when the other players joke around with him a little bit too much and stuff like that, you can kind of see a little bit of his attitude pop out. And I think that's him hanging out with Jude Bellingham a little bit too much, I think. And I think it's a response maybe to what Trent said last week, right? People forget what Trent said last week, that Trent was like, kind of on the fence about things and was like, I want to win stuff. And, my main goal is to be on a winning team and things like that and blah, blah, blah. And he's kind of putting pressure on FSG. So FSG is like, all right, let's put pressure back on you. Right now, it looks like you don't want to accept the deal, right? You don't want to accept the deal. So at this moment, it looks like you're going to leave for free, right? So it's really weird, and it's not something that we typically do, right? We typically don't put our business out there like that. So this is like so unlike Liverpool, and maybe that was more of a Jurgen Klopp thing versus it was like a Liverpool FC thing, right? Or an FSG thing, or an Edwards type of thing, where Jurgen Klopp was like, nah, we're not putting our business out there. We're keeping everything on the low. And now that he's not here anymore, we're seeing more reports of what Liverpool got going on behind the scenes and things like that, and players that we're interested in, when typically we're like a thief in the night with a lot of this stuff, right? So injured Carvajal might trigger transfer rumors on Trent. What's your take on that? I think he's like a perfect Madrid player. I'm going to be very honest. I'm going to agree with you, Thorin, on that. Trent has Madrid DNA. I think Trent is unfortunately, I think Trent he has the Madrid kind of swagger to him, the Madrid vibe to him. I can totally see that move happening, especially, and I've said it constantly, right? That if there's anybody we should be worried about, it's Trent, because Madrid actually need someone in his position. And they've needed someone in his position for a while, because we know Carvajal is getting up there in age. He's not going to continue to be able to play at the highest level and things like that. They're going to want a successor for him. And now that Carvajal is injured and it looks like it's a season-ending injury, They're going to push. And for FSG, and we know for FSG, Michael Edwards, we know that money talks with them. We know that money talks with them. And that if Madrid come in with $100 million offer or $120 million offer for Trent, I see Michael Edwards taking that. I can see Michael Edwards and FSG taking that deal if they come in at 100 or they come in at 120 or 115, 110. I can see them taking that deal, especially because Trent is an all profit type of deal. He's from our academy, right? And that's kind of the model that Michael Edwards likes to operate in, right? Of we buy low and sell high and those types of things. And then Liverpool Truth TV, welcome in. Salah and VVD will leave in the next 2 years. And if they sign new contract, and even if they sign new contracts, it's true. I'm pretty sure the club already has a contingent plan in place if the three had to leave by the end of the season. I agree 100%. And then Reese Graham, Trent can be shifty. Fans will FSG out all they want if he leaves. But frankly, if you're not 100% down for Merseyside, the monster will be happy to replace you. Exactly. 100%. Would be a dream if all three stayed. I hope all three stayed. But I don't know now. I really don't know. And I think we get 2 out of the 3 to stay. And the 2 that stay, I think, is Mo and VVD. My personal opinion, I think Trent does end up making a move to Madrid, especially with how things have kind of played out in the whole Carvajal situation. But I pray and hope that our hometown boy, and he's one of my favorite players on the team, Trent, stays. Trent, if you somehow see this, please stay. Please stay. We already signed Mamar Dashvili, so that is already a sign that we are planning ahead as Alisson becomes more injury prone now. Yep. And I thought that was such a weird signing when I first saw it. Turns out it was actually a spot on signing. It was a great signing, actually. Now that we look back at it, and I didn't even realize how injury prone Alisson was until this season. And I was like, and I'm looking back and I'm like, wait a minute, Gallagher has played a lot for us, hasn't he? I'm like, that's not a good sign for your number one if your number 2 is getting like as many clean sheets as you and getting almost as many appearances as you on a season basis. So for a fullback, 100 million is miracle money. It's true. And I can totally, especially because Madrid need a fullback now. Now they need a fullback. I mean, obviously Camavinga can play there and they have some cover there. But I think they would want a world-class talent that already has ties to the club in Jude. And they've already shopped in England. It's been successful lately. I can see them going back to England, come shopping for Trent, and trying to push FSG's hand and say, hey, this is your generational talent. No one has ever paid this amount of money for a fullback. What do you think? And I see FSG and Michael Edwards taking that deal. Apart from Zubamendi, there are not many ball-playing DMs. It'd be interesting to see who we're going to sign. For sure. I think we do go after an 8, believe it or not, and not so much of a 6. Maybe a box-to-box 8 that does have defensive qualities. And last stream, I talked about Merlin Roll, who has been heavily linked with us. He's like kind of like the only midfielder that has kind of been linked with us in the past couple weeks, but I like him. I think he's like 6'4", really great athlete, a little bit more in the attacking mold, but because of his size, I think maybe Slot sees him as like a good deputy to Ryan when he's out, but can play in the 8 and for sure can play in the 10, right? Only since last season has Alisson started with these issues, but obviously the club has reckoned that Alisson has fitness issues now. Recognized, no worries. Yeah, I mean, it's just becoming more and more common for Alisson to kind of get injured, and it's so weird. And it's that hamstring which he's had before, and I still think Alisson is the best goalkeeper in the world. Do not get me wrong. I still think he's the best in the world, but I think that's why now we went after Gigi and we signed him. We think he could be a baby Alisson, and I think he can. A sports writer once worked with a sports writer I once worked with would always say availability is more important than ability. And that's where we're at with Alisson. And it's so true. What do you do with the best goalkeeper in the world if he's not available a lot? You do nothing with him. You can't do anything with him. It's like a Naby Keita kind of thing. Naby could never stay healthy. Was a great 8, a phenomenal 8, right? And some of the play that he had at RB was out of this world, but he was never available. He was never fit. Same thing with Thiago. Thiago is another one. Out of this world type of talent, insane talent, but was never available. So what's the point, right? And then PG, I hope we get to talk about our next 5 fixtures. How do you guys think we do? And I will. I'll talk about that in a second. So the other teams for the on form category is Arsenal, right? Like us, they keep finding ways to win, right? They play Southampton, who isn't a major threat, but it's 3 points nonetheless for them, and they keep moving on. And I believe they're still undefeated in the league, 17 points, 1 point behind us. But I do think that we get results out of that Arsenal game. I'm not a huge fan of the way that they play against top sides that are more apt to attacking or just better, right? They're just better sides. And I think if they try to play that low block game with us, I think they get punished. I don't think they outmuscle our center backs or try to steal headers from us and things like that and bag late goals and bag set piece goals. I think if they come with that strategy to our game, I think they're in for a long night. And I'm probably one of the only Liverpool fans that believe that right now. I think we get past Arsenal if they play the way that they've been playing everyone else. If they play the way that they played Man City, I think we easily handle Arsenal. I do. The only games that I really worry about the most is those 2 Brighton games, the back-to-back Brighton games at the end. Those are the ones. And Chelsea. I worry about those games because they're attacking sides that they're hard to handle sometimes on their day, and they're volatile. We know Brighton is a bogey team for us, and Chelsea, they're just not after this week, obviously, but they've been on fire just scoring goals for fun, right? And then Brighton is the other team that I have for the on form category. Came back to beat a cocky Tottenham team who kind of took their foot off the pedal. And these 2 teams that are on form this week, they're important to us because they're coming up in this run, bro. And they're in a good way. They're a dark horse in the league. I have my money on them. I have my money on them for battling for a top 4 spot and definitely for sure getting a Europa League spot. They are a dark horse. Money well spent from their board. Finally, after just like racking up like 300 million in sales over like the past like 5-6 years. And using it well, using it wisely, and appointing the right coaches and bringing up youth players. It's like a perfect model. If they can just get a winning mentality in the team, they'll be a threat for years to come. Brighton will, for sure. But a special shout out to Brentford and Fulham. I know Fulham didn't even get a win this week against Man City, but they pushed them to the limit, man. And City is like in the middle for me this week. They're not on form. They're not out of form. They didn't drop points, but they came damn close. And Pep won't love the way that City are playing going into this international break. And I think it sets us up for a really, really good run at them, bro. They look vulnerable this week. They look vulnerable this season, more so. And then Happily says, I think based on playing style, Chelsea are a bigger threat. I say playing style, I mean Chelsea are so variable, from sublime to ridiculous. And you don't know which Chelsea you're going to get. You might get the Chelsea where Cole Palmer takes 4 shots and then Cole Palmer scores 4 goals. And then you also might get the Chelsea that can't beat a 10-man Nottingham. So you don't know which Chelsea you're going to get. And for some reason, they like to show up against Liverpool. They just do. And then Reese says, it was wild seeing how quickly Brighton seemed to mature after that marathon performance at Chelsea. Probably got their arses worked off at practice. Yep. It's true, man. They have bounced back, and they are a dark horse team for me, man. I like them a lot. Liverpool tend to suffer on the low bottom teams than top 8 teams, so it's going to be fun. Trust me, for sure. And then the out of form teams for the week. Tottenham. I don't know if this club is cursed. I don't know what it's like down to their core, to like the fundamentals and the history of this team, that they just do not have a winning mentality. And it's unfortunate because I like Ange Postecoglou, and I think he could potentially be maybe a Liverpool manager, maybe down the road in the future, because I feel like he's like almost like he gives me Jurgen Klopp vibes for some weird reason. But they made great acquisitions in the summer, some very good youth players. But like Brighton, they're just one of those sides that, you can't lose onto these games. Like Brighton is good, but you can't lose being 3-0 up at any level, whether you're a top side team or you're a bottom of the table team. You cannot capitulate or winning 2-0, sorry, and losing 3-2. You can't capitulate like that, especially if you are a top side that's trying to be a Champions League team, that's trying to compete for titles. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't. So the biggest changes this season is how we defend as a team. Only 4 goals conceded. And the way we control in the midfield, our attack is also getting a majority of the goals. It's true. We have only conceded 2 goals in the league, 4 goals in all competitions. It's phenomenal. And credit to Alexis McAllister, credit to Ryan Gravenberch. Those two have been the best midfield duo in the league and maybe in the world. And I'll stand by that. I think Maka needs a little bit more love for sure. I think he's a big reason why Ryan is able to play the way that he's playing. And I think those two are the main reason why we're able to control games, concede less goals, because they act as like a shield and a barrier to our back line, and they alley attacks into certain areas so we can win the ball back quicker. You don't see them flying in and getting it, winning a bunch of challenges and winning a bunch of tackles. They do. It's not as visible, but I think more so what they do is that their position that they take up on the field makes it easier for Liverpool to defend a lot of these attacks that are coming forward. And you can see the fruit of that. And then Frankfurt striker Marmoush linked with us. Perfect FSG signing. Got a feeling one of Jota or Darwin is going to leave soon. We're going to talk about Marmoush, guys. And you guys may not like what I think about Marmoush. But let's finish the out of form category real quick. Man United, I think Ten Hag has like hours left in that position. They made some good acquisitions in the summer, but it's tough, dude. And who do you even bring in to replace Erik Ten Hag? I don't know. If it was up to me as a Liverpool fan, I think Ten Hag sticks around. And then our last out of form team for this week is going to be Wolves. I'm not sure where they go from here, right? They looked good against us last week, or maybe we made them feel like they looked good. We gave them the illusion that they were playing better than that they were. But they haven't won a game all season, and they play Manchester City after the break. It's not looking good for Wolves. To lose 7 games, not get results out of 7 games on the bounce, it is going to be very hard for them to recover from this. Very hard. Same thing with Crystal Palace. Same thing with Southampton. And by the way, those are the 3 teams that I said are going to struggle this season in my prediction video. And then Red Chili got a pop to the shop before they close. Catch you guys later. Yes, absolutely, Red Chili. You are amazing. Big supporter of the channel. See you on the next one, my friend. And then if any of you guys have to take off, feel free to. But we will have a copy of this podcast. It drops every single Thursday on all your streaming services. So you guys will be able to come back and listen in on this. Reece Graham, the problem with the replacing Ten Hag is that they've spent so much money on guys they let him run the ball and he's failed. It's true. It's so true. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're just like, where do you kind of go from Ten Hag here? Because he has just beefed up this team so much with his players and spent hundreds of millions of dollars just for it to not work. Do you give the next guy another 250? Do you give the next guy another €500 million to rebuild a squad that was just rebuilt? It's not a great way for Manchester United right now, and I look forward to seeing what they do if they can do anything. And then Alex, yo, what's up, man? Been really enjoying our debates and your takes. Hope you and your fam are keeping being blessed. Absolutely, Alex. Sorry. Dyslexia kicking in for a little bit. But thanks for coming back onto the show. I remember you, Alex. You are an amazing supporter of the channel. Me and the family are doing great. We're actually going to be heading out of town next week. Content are still going to be flowing in, but I appreciate you, and I hope you and yours are doing amazing as well. And then Reese again, if they fire him, it'll be a lose-lose for sure. It will be a lose-lose. I would take the Korean player from Wolves. I like him too. And I believe he's an RB graduate as well, student of the RB Academy. I think he's good. I think if he just had better service, he'd do much better in a better team. I think he would do much better in a better team. Hwang Hee-chan, if I'm not mistaken. But shout out to Chelsea in the out of form category. Shout out to Chelsea. They're a special honorable mention. They don't all the way make it, but Chelsea for not beating a 10-man Nottingham Forest. They should be beating them. So, and then let's go into the off-press kind of category where we talk about some of the things we're seeing in the media, in the press, and that we want to talk about. And then what are your thoughts on City winning the 115 charges, including Premier League getting exposed? Did they win? Can somebody let me know that? Did City did they not get charged? Is it over? I wasn't even keeping up with it. I think they won the first round, right? Or something like that. Or like they won like the first 10. They got the first 10 wiped or something like that. I didn't know if they got all 115. If somebody knows kind of the background on that and where everything is in the hearing and things like that, you let me know. But it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard for them to beat this, dude. It's going to be hard for Man City to beat this, and it's going to be hard for the Premier League to persecute them, mainly because City have unlimited lawyers. Don't they have like one lawyer for every charge or something like that? I remember reading that somewhere, that they have like one lawyer for like every charge that they've been charged. Like, how do you even combat against that? And I think with the Premier League has like maybe 6 or 7 attorneys, right? The APT case had nothing to do with the 115. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thank God. Because if that happened, I think football is ruined. I think if City get away, if they don't get charged for at least one of these things, football is ruined. Because then they're just gonna go crazy. I think they're just gonna go crazy. I think everybody's just it's gonna be the wild, wild west if they figure out a way to kind of get away with this. And you'll see Newcastle all of a sudden start buying a ton of players. You'll see Chelsea continue to do what they're doing. Man United keep going unregulated, keep spending a bunch of money too. And it's gonna ruin the league for us if they don't at least get charged for one of them. And then Dan Wood, what up, Dan? Welcome to the new Bundesliga. I can see it. Where it's just Bayern Munich every season. Man City win again. But I think it might be a little bit different, mainly because I think Man City is more reliant on Pep than Dortmund, or not Dortmund. Bayern Munich was reliant on Pep, right? Obviously, Bayern Munich kept winning after Pep left. I don't know if City could keep winning if Pep leaves. So basically, EPL got a slap on the wrist to do better, but judges upheld the APT rules. The primary ruling of the APT was split by the judges. Judges said the EPL APT rules aren't unlawful, but said no interest loans from club investors need to be enforced for all teams better. Yeah, and I heard that like only the blue teams backed it. It was like Everton, Chelsea, Newcastle, and City. Who would have thought? Huh? It will ruin it. Looks like league. They don't even have TV rights in France anymore. They don't. I didn't know that. I did not know that. There'll be repercussions. If this isn't handled correctly, there will be massive repercussions. And then Alex said, I think City will end up getting away with it because it's also politically motivated. If they charge City, the UAE will stop helping out with construction in the UK. And you know money talks. Never thought about it that way. That's so true. That is so true. And then Nick, what's up, Nick? Welcome in, brother. Good to see you. PSG will go wild with player acquisitions if City win this entire thing. They will. Believe it, brother. They're all gonna go crazy. If City win this, expect the wild, wild west. Expect Rodrigo moving, Vinny Jr. moving. Expect Holland getting the move to Madrid. Expect, or maybe PSG. Expect these Saka maybe even leave Arsenal or something. That'll be the most unceremonious thing that ever happened. Go to City. I can see it, bro. I can see it. That's like the equivalent of Frank Lampard leaving Chelsea to go to City. I could totally see it, bro. It's gonna be crazy. City are bolstered by Pep, but money will always have a say in the title for sure. Pep also got a 2-year contract extension. Of course he did. It's crucial. The next year, as they decide this, and I hope it's quicker than a year, but I can see this going on longer than that, bro. It's going to be important for football. It really is, dude. And if we, as fans, we don't stand up, and I mean, everybody has to kind of stand up and say something about this. City might get away with it, man. Nick, pause the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power to join you. Thank you, Nick. You the man. Hey, Rings of Power will be there for sure. This podcast is live only once a week, but I appreciate you, brother. I love reading your comments. Long-time commenter of the channel, or just often commenter of the channel. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming in. I would take Rico, Lewis, and McAtee. Those two are ballers. I mean, credit to Pep. They've done a great job of building a phenomenal academy there. They have some great academy players. Foden, Rico Lewis, Palmer, McAtee now, Oscar Bob. They're just pumping out like world-class academy talent, which makes me think it's like, why do we need to cheat, bruh? You guys have a phenomenal academy. Why are we cheating? Why? It's the same thing with Chelsea. They have a great academy. Why do we need to just overblow this thing with just ruining the game with money? Why are we doing this? So, but off the press, let's move on from Manchester City for a little bit. Let's move on from Manchester City for a little. And then I'm not super versed in the whole Manchester City situation. So take whatever I say as for a grain of salt. This is just coming from a passionate Liverpool supporting fan. I don't know all of the laws and the rules and the punishment that may come, but I do know if the right decision isn't made, it could mean a lot of negative repercussions for football, right? So, off the press, the Trent and Mo and VVD contract situation. Now, we touched on that a little bit, but I think you give, if you're Liverpool, I don't know, because I remember before I used to say, you give Trent whatever he's asking for. He becomes the new talisman of the team. He's the new Mo Salah of the team, where he's the highest paid player. You give him whatever you want. But now I don't know. I actually don't know. Is right back a position where you break the bank for, where you make your right back the highest paid player on the team? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you give Trent a new contract? And you make him the highest paid player on the team? Because I believe the reason why the contract situation hasn't moved forward, I think that's why, is because Trent wants more money than Mo. And you know, FSG, they had a hard time giving Mo the contract. Edwards wasn't even around when Mo got that contract. Like, Edwards had to get out of the equation before Mo got that contract. Do you give that contract to Trent? Do you give him $250 a week? Do you make him the highest paid player on the team? Do you give him $300? And I know that's what he wants. And he's using that Madrid position to kind of prop that up and get more money. I know that's kind of what he's doing. But we have Connor Bradley waiting in the wings. That's my thing. And then Happily said, you can't overpay for a fullback. It sets you up for major problems with wage negotiations. It does. Because then you're going to have all the other defenders wanting that type of money. You're going to have Konate saying, well, if Trent got $250, I want $200. Right? If Trent's getting $250 a week, I want $200 a week. I know I'm not as good as Trent, but I'm going to be your best center back after VVD leaves. That gives him more leverage. So I don't know. I don't know. You have Connor Bradley waiting in the wings, and I think Connor Bradley has the potential to be a great right back and maybe a top class right back. I mean, the run of form that he was on last season, I was like, man, he could be a generational talent. When Trent was out, he was playing that good. And Trent is regarded as a generational talent. I see you, Brian. He is. So it's just like, do you break the wage structure for a generational talent like that? But he's a right back. I don't know. My thing with VVD, Salah, and TAA, it's hard to develop a new era while holding on to the last one. I think VVD and Salah can be helpful moving forward, but only at the right price. And it's true. It's very true. And fans intend on holding on tightly rather than letting go lightly. Yeah. I think you got to let Trent go. And you get money for the star player that you're letting leave. For the first time in FSG's history, we should get a price tag for these players, any of the players that we end up letting go. We can't keep letting our star players go for free. We just can't. We can't do it. LFC have absolutely no choice. This is, in my opinion, FSG's fault for not having a proper sporting director and letting the contract go down to the final year. 100%. 100%. They should have already, if the long-term plan was for them to stay, I think they would have already had contracts signed. I think the long-term plan was not for them to stay. But now that they are performing again, it's a new manager. They're hitting heights that they've never hit before. VVD is back in what looks like prime VVD. Salah is back in what looks like back at his best. Now I think FSG is like, oh, do we give them one more year? Do we give them 2 more years? I don't know. And I think now that FSG is like having second thoughts on how they want to kind of hold up their wage structure and how they do things. And then money is ruining the game, drives me crazy. When I played, I had to pay £1 to play, right? These players, these boys, they want the bag, man. They want money. They want the money. They don't want to do this for free. And Egg says you'll never replace TAA's or Trent's passing ability, but we can get by without it. You won't. And that's the question. That's the question I want to ask you guys. Is Trent's on-field ability, I guess for lack of a better word, is it overrated? Is it overrated? Like, do you need the cross-field pass? Do you need the beautiful diagonal across the park? Do you need that? And could you replace that with maybe a more out-and-out right back that can just bomb up and down and create an overlap for Salah to kind of bring some of the pressure off of him so he can get more space to shoot and create? Can you replace the assists that Trent gets? I think so. I think you can. I think Sabo is more than capable to take over set piece duties from Trent if Trent decides to leave. I think he is a better set piece taker than Trent. In my personal opinion, I think Maka is actually a better set piece taker than Trent is. But they don't get to take the free kicks because Trent has the hierarchy in the team, right? That's why Maka's not on corners or Sabo's not on corners or Maka's not on free kicks and Sabo's not on free kicks, who I wholeheartedly believe are better free kick takers than Trent is. Especially Maka. So a lot of the things that you lose with Trent, can you replace those things? I think you can with the personnel that we have right now. And then Salah is currently on 350. We can take those wages and offer it to the next best right winger. You can take 300, bruh, maybe even 250, and give that to a top class right winger. You really can. Another thing about Trent, does he want to work this hard under Slot? Like, does he actually? Bro out there doing a lot, and I love him for it. But we can work without, man, I love him, but we can buy a workhorse right back. It's true. If Trent wants to jog in Spain, let him. Brian says, yes, you do. It causes defenses issues. It does, man. It does. I love Trent, bro. He's my second favorite player on the team. Let's get that very clear. Let's get that very clear. Trent is my second favorite player on the team behind Szoboszlai. Before Szoboszlai came, he was my favorite player on the team. I thought he was the guy that was going to take us to the whole nother level, be the captain, be our modern day Steven Gerrard. But I'm not loving the way that not just FSG, but also Trent is going about the whole contract situation. I think he could have easily have gone and said, you know what? I'm staying. My intent, and come out and say that. My intent is to be Liverpool captain and to stay here as long as I possibly can. And it's going to be up to the owners and my team to come with the deal. But my intentions are clear. I want to stay and be Liverpool captain for the rest of my career. It's very easy to say that. Stevie did it. John Terry did it. Lampard did it. All these greats that, you know what I mean? And obviously Lampard eventually moved on. But all these greats that were linked to other teams, they went out and they said, no, I'm staying, right? His passing is unsurpassed, but we can get by with better movement and passing interaction. Szoboszlai looked great in the first few games. Unfortunately, he's not good against low blocks. LFC Truth TV, Michael Edwards signed Virgil, Allison, and Salah. With him back, we already signed Marmoush or Marmardashvili. Hughes may be a deal maker now, but Edwards knows how to do business and is still the main man. Let's hope that he is actually spearheading a lot of these negotiations. And then Brian said Trent's family dynamic is in effect here. His parents are in finance. Yeah, they want that money. They're not going to let him get sign another contract without being compensated for what they believe Trent is worth. And I believe he's a generational talent. I believe he does deserve that money. But coming from FSG's brain and Michael Edwards' brain, I feel like it's very hard to see Trent get offered 250 or 300. I think it's just so hard. And then nobody is bigger than the club. Always devastated when a big name leaves, but we rarely suffer. It's true. And 9 times out of 10, the players that end up moving on, they don't thrive after leaving Liverpool, right? They don't thrive. You look at Coutinho, you look at Mane, you look at Torres. Luis Suarez is like one of those rare examples who moved on and became even better than he was at Liverpool, right? And became an all-time great and is one of my greatest strikers of all time, top 5 for sure. But there's a video on my channel about Szoboszlai. He has got big dreams, and I reckon he's going to become a great player for us. Go check out the video. Absolutely. Do that. I'm coming out with a Szoboszlai video as well. It should be dropping this weekend. Diving into some of the data behind it, and maybe we're misunderstanding Dom a little bit and what he brings to the team. We suffered for years after Suarez. I think that was a mix of a couple different things, not just Luis leaving, but also just bringing in the wrong people. So if Trent Alexander-Arnold goes, it just means the slight adjustment in style. It won't break us. It won't break us, Eggs. I don't think it will. I think Connor is actually ready to take up that position. And I think he's been impressive from what I've seen. And I think, believe it or not, guys, I think we go after Jeremy Frimpong if Trent goes. I like Jeremy Frimpong if we want to keep Connor as a backup. I know he's more of an attacking right back, but he can put in defensive work. And if we want someone that's going to give us attacking threat from that right-hand side, I like Frimpong a lot, who has also been very open about his love for our club and his love for the players that play for our club, right? So we'll see. McManaman did great things too after leaving us. That's true. I forgot about Steve. Connor gets hurt. LFC are screwed for sure. We do need a backup right back. We need another right back. I don't know who you go after. And I saw something that Gary Neville said that I thought was very interesting, is that, like, do you spend that much on a right back when you can just develop one from the academy? Right? Right backs and fullbacks are one of those positions that you can develop. You can bring in a really good right back and a really good fullback from the academy. I believe Steven Gerrard was a right back when he first came through, right? It's one of those positions that if you have a player that can get up and down the field, that's decent enough defensively and can pass the ball very, very well, they can be a serviceable right back for you. Or you bring in another center back and you almost playing like a back three sometimes, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Trent. I think Trent is the biggest question mark. I do think that Salah and VVD sign contracts. I don't think we have to worry about those two. I think they will eventually sign contracts, especially VVD. I'm the most confident about VVD signing another contract. But Trent is the one that I worry about and could go in January. And you look at some of these moments throughout the season that this season getting taken off early and, throwing a tantrum. Some of the things he's kind of said in the media, hanging out with Jude Bellingham a lot, who I'm sure is trying to convince him to come, especially now Danny Carvajal is gone. And they're just going to be hanging out for the next week. And if we don't think that, the player agent type of stuff isn't real, it's so real. And I think a sign of that is Gerald Kwanzaa and Konate both getting new contracts as well, which maybe puts a little doubt into. I don't think it puts down to the VVD contract. I think VVD gets maybe a 1 or 2 year, and then he retires after that. He retires on top. But I think Gerald Kwanzaa and Konate getting contract extensions is a phenomenal thing. I'm seeing that in the press as well. Those two are definitely for the future. I think Konate could be our next VVD. I think we already have our next VVD in Konate. He is a beast of a player. So I like him. I like Gerald Kwanzaa. We still got Gomez in the mix as well. That's true. Gomez can play right back, left back, center back, defensive midfielder. Calvin Ramsey should have been one for us too. Calvin Ramsey is another one that we totally forgot about. That's on loan as well. I believe there's another young kid that is very highly rated, but he is on loan. That is a right back as well. Oh, dude, what is his name? I think his name is Steven. You guys will have to let me know. But he can play defensive mid and right back. Let me look him up really quick. He's a really good Lucas Stevens. Look up Lucas Stevens, guys. He's another player that I believe is out on loan that is actually really good in the right back position as well. So I don't know if we'll sign a right back because Luka is a boss. From what I understand, Luka is people were calling him the next Trent for a little bit. But he's a good talent. Calvin Ramsey is there. We have Gomez there. It isn't like we haven't really quietly have been kind of preparing for this moment. But I do think maybe we maybe do go for a right back, but maybe we don't. I think they believe in Connor Bradley a lot, and I think Arne Slot really likes Connor Bradley actually a lot as well. And then we'll wrap up on this because we're almost at an hour. The Marmoush and Kareem Adeyemi rumors. Listen, guys. Listen. Marmoush isn't that guy. I'm going to say it. Marmoush isn't that guy. I know. He's balling this season. He's balling in these first 8 games. I don't think he's that guy, though. I'm like, okay, so I'm hearing a lot about this Marmoush guy. He's been brought up over and over and over in the media, in the press, mainly probably because he's Egyptian. Let's keep that in mind. And we have one of the Egyptian greats. He's having a great start to the season. Out of control numbers. But I'm looking back. I like to look back. Whenever we're linked with anyone, I like to look back on previous seasons. He's been abysmal in his previous seasons, guys. Yep. Nunes is another one of those that's just I don't know what's happening with Darwinito. But Marmoush, okay, we're looking back last season, 18 goal contributions. About 18, 19 goal contributions, which is a solid season. This season, he's playing out of his gourd, right? For Wolfsburg, guys, for Wolfsburg, guys, when he before he came to Eintracht Frankfurt, 5 goals, 1 assist in 33 games. 33 games. You guys think Darwin underperforms? I think this guy will probably disappoint you guys a lot. I think you guys will disappoint. He will disappoint you guys a lot. Stuttgart, 21 matches, 3 goals, 5 assists. St. Pauli, 21 matches, 7 goals, 8 assists. Wolfsburg's under 19 side or second team. In his most recent season, or in 2020, 15 appearances, 9 goals. I don't know. He might just be one of those shooting stars, bro. Marmouche has been bad for bad clubs. That's what I'm talking about. So for me, Marmouche, and he's 25. Yeah, he used to play for St. Pauli, believe it or not, in 2020 when he first started out. I think it was it may have been a loan move for him from Wolfsburg, because he came through Wolfsburg's academy, it looks like. Absolutely. Thank you, LFC Truth. You're the man. I'll make sure I check out your stuff too. Did he play for the Brighton coach, the young German American? I don't think so. No. This one was in 2020. I don't know how long that coach was at St. Pauli. I don't think he was there for more than a year, right? So this was before he got there. I'm looking back at some of these numbers from Marmouche. I think he's a shooting star. I think he's a shooting star type of player. I don't trust it. Karim Adeyemi. He's another one of those players that's being heavily linked with Liverpool. I liked Karim Adeyemi, and I still do like Karim Adeyemi. But Karim Adeyemi has a consistency problem. To be fair, Karim Adeyemi has been playing out of position his entire time for Dortmund. Right? Karim Adeyemi has been playing out of position his entire time for Dortmund. He's been playing on the left when he's more of a right winger in Mo Salah's kind of mold, right? Left-footed right winger, which he played more so when he was playing at RB Salzburg in 2020, 2021, 2022. 19 goals, 5 assists, had a phenomenal season, standout season there. I think if we go for either of those two, you go for Karim Adeyemi and you play him in his favorite position. Also, he's tied with Szoboszlai. It's Szoboszlai's best friend in all of football. They're super, super close. If you guys didn't know that, look into that. Him and Szoboszlai are literally best friends. So there's a link there. The left-footed on the right wing thing does work. He seems to be in better form this season for Dortmund, but it's the consistency for me. You can't play on the left side and you're left-footed. I don't know. If I'm Liverpool, I'm going after Benjamin Sesko. I'm maybe changing the way we kind of do things. I'm maybe putting Szoboszlai on the right-hand side where he thrived for RB Salzburg, by the way, in a right-sided attacking midfield role. And you put Sesko in the middle of that, and you make him the main man. Right now, he's on fire. I believe he's, what is he at? For 7 goals, or 7 goals and assists this season. Actually, 9 goals and assists this season already. Benjamin Sesko is one of those guys that I feel like has been flying under the radar. How come no one is talking about this kid? 9 goals and assists already this season? And I think he's done this in 6, 8, 9, 10 appearances. 9 appearances. So he's 9 for 9 right now. Right? He's 9 for 9 right now. And it was doing the same thing at Salzburg. 21 years old, 6'5", an absolute beast. I'm going to do a video about that as well. Who should be the Mo Salah replacement? That's going to be coming out probably tomorrow. I'm going to work on that today. But I think it's Ben Sesko. I think he's in the mix. And then I'll put together a list of other players that I think we should take into the consideration. And then the FSG pick. Like with, I think Dan just said it. FSG always sign players. Oh, no, Liverpool Truth TV. Liverpool always sign players the fans least expect. the fact that Adeyemi and Marmoush are in the news already and being linked with Liverpool already doesn't give me a whole ton of confidence that these moves are going to happen based off of our track record and our history, right? I just don't see it happening. But we'll see. You never know. It might be a different era in Liverpool right now. So let's see. And X said you can probably get Marmoush for 10 to 12 million. We could easily recoup in a sell to a championship side. It's a low risk signing, but I think Frank Eintracht they're gonna ask for more money, especially in the form that he's in right now. If he keeps scoring the way that he scores all the way up until January, or at least half the rate, and say he finishes, he gets to January on 15 goals and assists, or no, he gets to January on like 20 goals and assists or something like that. You can demand 30 or 40. You can demand 50, I think, and especially in today's market. So we'll kind of see. We'll see what ends up happening. But we'll wrap up stream here. We're already at an hour, guys. I appreciate you all for tuning in to the channel. Don't forget, we do this every single Tuesday at 12 o'clock Pacific time and then 8 p.m. British time to accommodate everybody. We might move that back an hour as we go into winter, but it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with all of you guys today, getting to chat. And you guys will have a copy of this on all streaming services, wherever you watch it, you listen to your podcast, you guys will get to listen to that. And I think I just pulled my screen over there. What the heck? But again, thank you guys all for the support. Put your prediction for the run of games, bruh, in the comments before you guys bump off. How many points are we getting? How many points are we getting in this run of games, bruh? I think we get results out of majority of those. So, but appreciate you all. Have an amazing evening, an amazing day, and we will see you on the next podcast.